a dear friend of ours, a constituent from my district, but a great Angelino, Richard Duardo, who was often referred to as the Chicano Andy Warhol. Although Richard would say Andy Warhol was the Chicano Richard Duardo. In fact, what Richard would say, if you look on YouTube or on KCET, you can find some stories of him where one is titled, "I'm Richard Duardo and you are not." He was special. He was born May 15th, 1952. He was raised in Highland Park, had a rich life growing up in Highland Park, a different Highland Park than it is today. He was always a trailblazer. He went to UCLA. He was irreverent and progressive and popular as an artist. In the late 60s, he was part of a collective of artists. I've spoken many times about the Chicano artists and the Renaissance that they created in Los Angeles, the muralists, and the other painters, the other poster makers, and that's what he was, a master of making posters. He was, as a friend, a generous man, respectful and kind. I cannot deny that I am very fond of him. He was a very good friend, a dear friend. I first met him at UCLA, and he was a worldly man for a guy from Highland Park, and I think his art took him there. During the late 60s, he was one of those artists who studied Mao so that they could make art for the people, and that people were the guiding force for what he did. His work was iconic, and you will see it throughout the city. You'll see it throughout this town. He did Frida Kahlo. He did Che Guevara. He did Lenin, John. He did wrestlers with masks. He did stuff much like Andy Warhol, and he was, I guess, an aficionado of Warhol. He would deconstruct something. I saw him just on television the other day talk about. He deconstructed the most simplest of art, of popular art, then filled it in and then put it back together. And he made it bigger than what it was, because it was bigger than what it was. And he passed away peacefully in his sleep the other morning. He has a studio in my district right on Main as you cross the river. He's a master. I mean, you can look him up on KCT. He's a giant in the art community here in Los Angeles. He was a local boy, but a global man. And